Go ahead here, it's the 9 o'clock hour. Oh, I'm sorry, Lori, tell me when you're ready. Apologize.
Hey, man, brother, how you doing?
Hey, Miss Cassidy. Hey.
You doing all right?
I'm okay, how about you?
Just in the nick of time.
How
you all?
Good.
Yeah. I was out there running my mouth.
Okay, I'm ready.
All righty, I'd like to call this meeting of the Chattanooga Beer Board to order. Welcome to everybody. All meeting attendees must sign in at the designated sign-in sheet. Electronic devices must be turned off or muted so as not to disrupt the meeting. And individuals wishing to address the board, or if you're coming up to speak about your application, please state your name before making comments and speak up into the microphone. All right, make sure my phone's turned off. Okay, first item on our agenda is the approval of the minutes of April 17th, which are in your package. Is there a motion?
Make a motion that we approve the minutes.
All right, motion to approve April 17th minutes. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? None noted. All right. Thank you.
17?
Yeah, it's April 17th. It's a misprint on the agenda.
It should be,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. All right. Next item on our agenda is the beer applications approved by regulatory. And I'll just quickly run down that list. And then if there's any others that need to be added, please let me know. Riverfront Nights Free Summer Music Series, TE 73. Riverfront Nights Free Summer Music Festival, TE 74. Nostalgia Tap Trucks LLC, TE 81. Outfitters Grand Opening. Excuse me, that's number 3. Nostalgia Tap Trucks, TE 81. Pardon me there. Newman 3 Inc. doing business as 111 Vape and Smoke. And it is beer-1330. Mickey's Lounge, beer-1332 have been approved by regulatory. Are there any other additions to that list? No. Okay, thank you very much. All right, there are no new temporary beer permit applications today. So we will start with our first beer applicant, VTX Club LLC, doing business as VTX Club for an on-premises permit.
But Chairman, can I just ask a question? I don't know if anyone knows this, but the Newman, Newman 3 Inc. It's a vape and smoke shop doing beer carry out? Is it? Is that what I'm just trying to sit?
Yeah.
Which one are you asking about?
Number 4.
Yes.
So, vape shots in there, Carrie.
Just curious.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think there's anything that
code
says they can't.
against it.
All right. Okay. That's a good question. So back, VTX Club LLC, beer 1334, on premises permit, Vicky Yan, owner, 415 Georgia Avenue. So is the applicant here? You'll come step up to the podium, please, ma'am.
We're the witnesses.
Oh, I'm sorry, Lori, I'm sorry. I totally forgot that.
Remember that.
We need to be solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're giving today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
All right.
All right, we ready?
Yes, sir. Go right ahead.
Say your first name for me.
My first name is Ingja.
Ingja?
Ingja, yeah.
Ingja Yan is making an application to engage in sale of consumer beer at 415 Georgia Avenue. Ms. Yan has not had a beer permit for this location. The location is owned by Luxury Club LLC and is zoned U-CX.
Okay. And have
And
they
everything is good. She's
Okay.
passed all inspections.
passed all inspections then? All right, great. If you would tell us a little bit, state your name and tell us a little bit about what you're doing.
Yes, this is a BTX Club. We're doing cigar and golf centimeter launch. So you can play the golf centimeters. And also we try to do like a kind of like a bourbon launch. And also we are online on social club. So we open to our members, but we still open to our to the public like a guest. But mainly we focus on our members. Yeah.
All right, questions from the board? Ron?
Yes, for Officer Moser, I guess, you didn't say the VTX Club LLC. When you read the thing, you had
Luxury Club.
Luxury Club.
No, it's, we are VTX Club. Luxury Club, I think it's the
They're doing business as VTX
club,
Club.
yes.
I just read what,
The location is owned Luxury Club.
The owner was,
Yes, we send a list with them.
okay,
so the location is owned by Luxury Club LLC,
okay,
Got it.
and they're doing business as the VTX
VTX
Club.
Club.
okay,
Right.
Yes.
Got it.
thanks.
All right, further questions from any of the board members?
I got one more then.
Yes, sir, Ron?
Yes, ma'am, what is the occupancy of your establishment?
So our occupancies right now, it's, I think the fire department is 99.
99?
Yeah.
Okay, and tell us a little bit about how you're going to be checking, make sure everybody's 21 when you're selling them beer.
Yes, so also we read the policy. We have to make sure all the staff check the driver license ID, and also we have the system, we have to scan the ID as well.
Okay.
So we will double check.
You're talking about the membership ID or what?
I'm talking about like when we sell the alcohol,
Okay,
yeah.
thank you.
All right. And you will be serving alcohol and beer, or liquor and beer?
Yeah, we are doing the doing process to apply the liquor as well.
Okay.
At the same time.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Question.
Yes, sir.
Is this a residence or a business? I'm
It's
looking
a
at 415
business.
Georgia Avenue, and it looks like it shows as a residence.
No, it's the business location. It's a commercial building.
All right.
I have a question here.
Yes, sir.
Good morning, thank you for coming. Have your servers been trained to serve? Have they been through the training process?
We haven't started hiring the staff yet, but we have the whole policy and how we hire but when we post online, the first requirement is like they should have like a TABC license and also have the what they call the service license as well. We need both.
All right.
Yeah.
Very good.
And when this is over, if you approve, you'll see, yeah, Calandra, thank you.
Yes.
When you get double nickels, you forget things. You see Calandra, and she can help you as well.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Calandra.
All right, further discussion? All right, is there a motion?
Bro Chair, I make a motion that we approve VTX Club LLC Beer 1334.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
Second discussion to the motion? All right, none noted, I'll call the roll. Let's see, Christie?
Yes.
Brooke? No, Brooke's not here, excuse me. Veronica?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
J.W. Cole?
Yes.
Reginald?
Yes.
Betsy?
Yes.
Zach?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. All right, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Good luck.
When are you opening?
We planning in June, because right now we're waiting for the license and the liquor license, so it's taking a little bit of time, try to prepare everything, yeah.
All right, good.
Congratulations.
All right,
Thank you so much.
congratulations.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right. Next applicant is JRFMTN, LLC, doing business as The Signal. This is a change of ownership. Is there a representative here? If you would, step to the podium, please.
Raise your right hand, please, sir. Do solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. All right. Marathon Acquisition LLC is making application to engage in the sale of consumer beer at 21 Choo Choo Avenue. Organization has not had a beer permit for this location. The pending application reflects a change of ownership. The business was formerly operated by Joshua Clayton Ballou and Ryan Clayton Henry. Location is owned by M1 Choo Choo LLC and RP Choo Choo LLC and is zoned U-1X. And they are still waiting on building inspection.
What is your name, sir?
I'm Ryan, and Josh would be here too if he was, he's in Memphis today.
That's okay.
We're not going anywhere, we're just adding in another partner. So it's all the same ownership for the most part, just one new person's coming on board. So here we are.
All right. So you're still waiting on building?
I didn't know about a building inspection until a couple days ago, so I haven't even scheduled it.
Okay.
But
We can't take any action until that's completed.
we submitted a CO, I guess you still want to have someone from codes out? Okay.
Yeah, CO, this is and correct me if I'm wrong, but this is a separate inspection. Building does for beer permits, not certificates of occupancy.
Gotcha.
Right.
Understood. Yeah, sorry, with birth out,
Well, yes.
Yes, sir.
You're preaching to the choir.
Yeah,
Okay.
sure, yes.
All right. So we'll have to move this to our next meeting.
Okay.
All right. Is there a motion to?
Question.
All right,
I'd like
Ron.
to- when is this transaction supposed to take, when are you supposed to take ownership of it?
Well, I currently have ownership of it.
Okay.
But the paperwork will be signed when we deliver kind of all the deliverables, which includes things like
But
this.
in the meantime, you're operating with the old permit and up
Yes.
to that date. Okay, thank you.
Very good.
So I'm curious. So the signal is open and you're operating.
Yes.
I'm just walking this through in my head.
Yeah.
And you still have to get a building permit?
No. Captain Jackson was just as confused at the fire marshal's office, but it was good to see him. We've done all the inspections like we would if we were open.
Right, if you're open.
But we're operational and open, so, I'm happy to do the building inspection. We just weren't aware of it, so. But we get no construction, no permits have been
Right.
pulled, nothing's.
It's just a
nothing's
change
changed.
of ownership.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. And that's just in my little head. I'm like, why do we have to go through the building inspection and you're already operating and?
To quote Mr. Mayfield, preaching to the choir here, yeah. So, a little bit.
Okay, now, would that be passed, I mean, would that permit potentially be approved prior to our
Yes.
next beer board
Yes,
meeting?
it could be approved by regulatory.
Yeah.
Once they get that
Approved by
done.
regulatory, so you might not have to come back.
Perfect.
Does that have to be a motion to move it to regulatory?
Now, we'll make a motion to pass it to the regulatory, right?
That's what I was asking.
Yeah, I mean, y'all can do that, or you can make a motion to pass it to the next meeting. And if the building comes back, then it can go through regulatory, because I've already signed off on it. The only thing that's missing is building.
Okay,
So-
all right.
Yeah, Veronica, here.
Veronica?
So he's able to operate off of somebody else's name?
It's his name. It's still his name.
Well,
Still here.
You're bringing in a new partner.
so is he able to operate off somebody else's permit?
Okay, so what's happening is that he still owns it. He's one of the owners. They're just bringing on another partner.
Okay.
And that partner isn't gonna sign on until after all of the
But don't
deliverables.
say partner, it's his ownership, so I'm just.
Well, it's a change in ownership
Okay.
because another partner is coming on. That's how it's classified. So,
Structural.
Yeah, we formed a new entity to protect the new partner from any past liability, if
Right.
that makes sense.
right.
Yes, it does. Yeah, I got it. All right, so,
But operating off of somebody else.
But it's not like it is on somebody else.
Okay.
The old permit's still valid until
all right. So is there a motion to pass this to regulatory?
Make a motion and we move beer no, I'm sorry. You don't have, yeah, 1336 to the, pass it to the regulatory, to sign off on when the building permit is finalized.
Second.
Second, further discussion to the motion? All right, Zach,
Yes.
Betsy,
Yes.
Reginald,
Yes.
JW,
Yes.
Ron,
Yes,
Veronica,
Yes.
Christie,
Yes.
and the chair votes yes. All right, hopefully we can get that done here ASAP.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, next item on our agenda is White Duck Taco Chattanooga LLC, doing business as White Duck Taco Chattanooga, beer permit 1339.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
What is your name, sir?
Ryan Taylor. It says Roger Taylor on there, but that's a misprint.
Oh, that's right on this one.
Okay.
Hey, Adam Lutz, Steve Lutz, Drew Beam, Dennis Beam, and Ryan Taylor are making an application engaged in the sale of consumer beer at 1519 Macaulay Avenue. The five had not had a beer permit for this location. Location is owned by Holtzclaw Holdings LLC and is zoned M-1. And they have met all requirements.
All right. If you would, just give us a little overview of what's going on here. I've heard the talk about you, so.
Glad to hear that. Yeah, we're setting up a White Duck Taco, a franchise originally out of Asheville, but run by people here from Chattanooga. We just thought it'd be a cool concept to bring here. We're hiring about 40 people, and we also will be doing ABC permits for all of our servers to make sure that everyone's getting ID'd properly. We're just a firm ID everyone just to be safe, because never want to get in trouble.
All right. Any questions from any board members?
well, just for my own personal edification, Megan.
Yeah.
Are you gonna be ready and have this, are you gonna be on the taco, week deal coming?
I don't remember when the taco week is, but we're aiming to be open the first or second week of June. So if it's,
I think it's July, but,
yeah,
Okay.
then we definitely will.
okay.
All right, good. All right, any other questions?
Sound like Ryan like taco.
Yeah. It does. Is there a motion then to approve the application?
But I just wanna make sure still that White Duck Taco get with Calandra as well for all of your employees,
Yes, sir.
if you will.
What's the occupancy now you're gonna have here?
150.
150?
Yes, sir.
And,
Is this a wrestler?
Operational.
okay,
Yeah. All right. Is there a motion?
I will.
All right, Ron?
I'd like to make a motion, we accept the application or
Approve.
White Duck Taco LLC, doing business as White Duck Taco Chattanooga, beer permit 1339.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion to the motion? All righty. Christie?
Yes.
And Veronica?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
JW?
Yes.
Reginald?
Yes.
Betsy?
Yes.
Zach?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. All right, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
All right, looking forward to it. All right, do we have any other applications? I don't see any else on the agenda. Is that it? Okay. All right,
That's it, because Miss Bertha helped.
right. Thank goodness. All right. All right, we enter a discussion phase right now for the board, and how do we want to proceed with violations that have not been heard in the past 60 days? So if you would kind of restate what the issue is for everybody.
Okay, so, ordinance number 5-199, schedule of hearing, states that, the hearing shall set time to be within 60 days, but not less than 30 days after the receipt of the notice by the permittee. So according to the code, the violation has to be heard within 60 days of the date of the violation. We have one that's currently pending, the one for Uptown Reload, that is currently outside of that time limit. The code does not say what to do with it, so I thought it would be best for the board to decide what they want to do with this particular violation.
I have a question, and then we'll open it up for discussion. Are they currently operating under a approved beer permit?
Jason, do you know?
I know this has been going on for a while, and
Been
I
here
want
3
to,
times.
do they have, is all that squared away?
Do I need to swear you in?
Yes,
Yes.
please.
Solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Sorry.
So it's kind of a complicated question, yes and no. So
That's why I called Jason up here.
if you look at the permit, it shows it's current and it's under Charles Smith's name. Now, the reason I say no is because there's been some name swapping as far as ownership goes with regards to Beer 999. It was in Nathan Benford's name for a little while. Mr. Benford didn't come to the board for that permit. And again, as we know, beer permits are non-transferable. So even if he had gotten a new beer permit, it would have been a different number. It would not have been Beer 999. So I guess administratively, yes, they have a operational permit. Don't know the legality behind it, though, with regards to the ownership changes.
Okay. Has it been determined the ownership at this point? Or is it still a moving target?
It's very much a moving target. It's very much questionable. The last time I spoke with Mr. Smith, when I went there for the previous violation, he was there behind the bar working, and he advised me that he was the manager and that he would have to call the owner. So I'm like, okay, explain to him that, this, signing the violation isn't an admission of guilt, just saying that you've acknowledged receipt and that you'll come before the board. But since then, like I said, it has changed back from Mr. Benford back to Charles Smith. Correct.
Question? Board?
How was it changed back to Charles Smith?
Yeah,
Did
good.
they
That's
come
a
in?
good question. I
That
don't
is
know if somehow, some way that the Treasury's office made a change, because if you look at the activity log, it time, date stamps when changes are made, and it usually says the name of the person that made those changes. And I believe the names on there are in fact from the Treasury office. I could be wrong, but that is my understanding.
That's my understanding out of the whole case, and that is that somebody in Treasury, because it's not owned by Charles Smith, it's owned by Nate Benford, and Charles Smith is the manager. So, but they didn't go to the Treasurer's office and print that permit, they did at the Treasurer's office.
Right, but even then, if they were going to change that, they would have to come before the board to do that.
Right. And they should have known that, because when you submit an application, you say, hey, I've read the beer code, I understand the beer code. And in the beer code, it clearly states that, it's non-transferable.
So was the beer permit ever in Nate Benford's name?
I'm sorry, what was your?
Was the beer permit ever in Nathan Benford's name?
Originally, the Beer 999, originally that was Charles Smith's beer permit. And then somehow, some way, Mr. Benford's name got put onto Beer 999. And again, I'm assuming that came from the Treasury's office.
And we're operating off of 999 right now.
Correct.
How old is that permit?
Which, I'm sorry.
999.
999, how old was it?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh, it goes back several years. I'd have to go back in OpenGov and look at it, but it's been there for quite some time.
And it's not, okay.
And they went through the renewal quite some time, so every year they are renewing 999.
Correct.
9 is on the wall at the.
Correct, that is correct, yes.
And I'm kind of slow.
Me too, so we'll work together.
When you went, what day, around what time, what month was that?
So that would have been, I'm sorry, let me grab my notepad.
So 999 was originally 2021.
2021. All right.
So I believe that date was on or around December of '24.
Okay, so
It was that last violation that we heard.
December the 15th.
It's in
It's,
December.
it's on here.
Got it, that'll work, yes, ma'am.
okay,
So whenever I got a violation somewhere, I always look at all the permits to make sure everything's on the up and up and everything else is good to go. And looking at that permit, originally, it looked like it had expired. Well, Mr. Benford was able to show me, no, I have a current beer permit.
And
And
his
sure
name.
enough, when I pulled it up, it showed his name on there and it was current. I'm like, okay, I got to look into this.
right.
So in looking into it, I discovered that the names were changed. Hence, here we are.
Right. And Mr. Charles Smith told you December 24th, he was the manager.
Whatever December date that was. Yeah, he
So
told me he was the
he was the
manager.
manager.
Correct.
And he got to call the owner, which is indicating or assuming Mr. Benford.
Correct.
And the license owner name is, as of today, it states who's the owner.
Charles Smith.
Who's changing it in the Treasury office?
I could pull it up in OpenGov and get names and do it that way.
Views here, are they just automatically going in there changing, or is Mr. Benford and Mr. Smith calling up there having it changed?
Have it right.
That I don't know. I would assume, and I hate to assume because in the past, what we would do if a beer permit was expired, like say they didn't renew it for the last couple of years, this was previous to the ordinance change. Treasurer's office would call me, hey, they've been out, the last 2 years, can I go ahead and renew them? And the guidance that I received was, yes, let's go ahead and let them pay up the remaining, whatever they owed for the previous years and get them back up to date. So I don't know if that was what was going on, and they just assumed that, yeah, hey, we're gonna just change this and go with it. But nobody ever called me to verify that or not.
So I'm wondering if who's either Mrs. Smith or Mr. Benford, when they go to pay it, this is the person that came in and paid it, and maybe they're putting their name, that person's name on it?
That's what I'm thinking also.
Yeah.
They went, my observation of this is they realized there's a problem on who's on the license and they just went down to the treasurer's office and said, we need to change the name.
It could either been done through a phone call or somebody
Yeah,
going down
something like
there.
that. Yeah, that's what it sounds like. I don't know that
I
for
find it
sure.
very convenient that it changed after they were cited.
Well,
After that what?
Excited.
I-
see,
Oh,
the plot thickens. Yes, Zach?
First off, there's a question of whether we can hear it because we're not under the authority of the ordinance. And in my opinion, it seems like an investigation needs to occur, even if they come to the beer board to answer these questions. And if a new violation needs to be issued so that we can hear it. But we don't have proof of anything, so it's all speculation right now.
Right.
So we can't make a decision on speculation, and they deserve the right to come in and offer proof and tell us their story. Is there a way to, even if, well, I don't know if a violation expires when we don't hear it, is another question.
Yeah.
See, that's the question, because the code is kind of silent as to what happens to it. It said that it shall be heard within 60 days, but not what happens if it's not heard within 60 days.
Shall.
So, that's up to the beer board's interpretation.
Were they supposed to be here today?
They were.
Were they notified?
They were.
They did not show up?
I do not see them here, no, sir.
yeah. But we can't do that.
Well, I mean, they've been here
showed up-
3 times.
They showed, I was gonna say, they showed up 3 times and it was on us.
Oh, my question is, are they in violation or the treasurer's office in violation? Because they didn't go in there and print their name on there. And are you saying that I can call and say, hey, I want to change my name on somebody else's, add my name to somebody else's.
You can't now.
Yeah, I can't
I'm
speak.
just saying, how do they
Yeah.
go in there and just tell somebody to put Nathan's name on it instead of Charles' name?
Then, Dan was saying is, I think what's going on is they're going in there paying it, and then they're just putting in who's coming in there paying it. And that may be how things are getting changed, but we won't know that until somebody actually
So-
go in and talk to Treasury.
I have a thought here, or maybe a recommendation. If, I would like for y'all to reach out to do the backtrack on this and get over to Treasury and find out who approved that. I'm
The
sure
sim-
they
If I
have,
may offer a simple solution,
Yeah.
Roberta, who's the supervisor over there, she may be able to come and articulate that a whole lot better than I can, because I don't work for that office. I don't know
Okay.
how they operate and what their
Okay.
protocols are.
okay.
Okay. So we got another one here today we're supposed to be hearing, right?
Well, that's,
Or Trevor's gonna hear it.
so that's the issue.
That's the same one.
Yeah, this
Oh,
is
that's
the,
the same
this
one.
is, this is the same one.
It's just never
Okay.
been heard.
So you're deciding whether or not, one, you can hear this, and if you can, Trevor is here to hear it today. So that's up to the
Okay.
board.
So,
And so the issue, because I'm reading this, citation, the business operating under permit that was issued fraudulent. That's what we're hearing.
It's not fraudulent.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so is it fraudulent?
No.
Or they do not have a current legal permit, do they?
I think we know who name it is in.
They have a legal permit, it's a piece of paper that say beer permit with the name on it. They didn't do it fraudulently, they didn't go behind the counter and print their name on there.
Yeah.
Treasurer's office did it. So this whole violation is not their fault.
Well,
That's my opinion.
Well, but it's ultimately responsible. Shouldn't the business owner ultimately
Right.
be responsible for anything that's going on with their business? So
Yeah.
they should be able to double check that and have it corrected if it wasn't corrected. And they've not taken any steps to have it corrected.
But it is corrected now. It's in Charles Smith.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
sorry.
corrected after,
As the
after they
applicant.
cited it.
Yeah, but it wasn't done properly.
We know that.
Right. You can't say that.
According to Jason Woods, sorry, excuse me what I just said, that's so out of order. According to,
Sergeant.
yeah, Sergeant Woods, they got changed after the citation. So it was when he went out of order.
So he
Is
was
that
properly,
correct?
so he was properly cited because it was not
Right.
correct
At
when
that
he was
time.
at that time.
Yeah.
So it was properly
It-
cited.
If I may interject, it was changed back to Charles Smith on February 18th of this year.
Oh,
February when?
And when was
18th.
when was the date of the original citation?
Would have been December,
February,
It's a 10.
February 10.
Yeah.
yes, February 10th is when they were cited on this one.
So can I ask a question, Sarge?
Absolutely.
So when you went in and cited, was writing them citation, you explained this process of, and I know how you do it.
Yes, sir.
You went and explained to them
Yes,
of
sir.
why you are citing them.
Yes, sir.
Which made them get into action to fix it.
Correct.
Okay, that's, okay. Gotcha. So if you would've never did that.
Always try to give a solution if I'm giving somebody a citation.
Okay.
So who is the permit under?
As of today, Charles Smith.
The manager, because on here it says the manager. That's what it's about.
Correct.
And when you went in, it was under Nathan Benford.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. That's how it was reflected
Right.
at that date when I went in.
Right.
The violation on February the 10th, on February the 18th, it was changed back to Charles Smith. Because if they're able to, if it's that easy to call the treasurer's office, they probably call and say, hey, fix our permit, you got the wrong name on here.
Right.
I don't see where they done anything fraudulent.
That's a
Well, they have to-
possibility. Again, I think that would be on the
Right.
Treasury's office to come
Right, and
testify as to
Treasury.
why that change happened.
Okay.
And they would have to come before the board to have that change.
Right.
Yes. But they would, I mean, well, if they
They
read,
didn't have to go before the board, they went before the treasurer's office.
Does that, so potentially, to say it simply, the city could have messed up,
Ooh.
which is fine. It just would get them off the hook, in a sense.
yeah.
So it would be useful to have Treasury come to the board, to kind of explain what happened, to solve that problem, in my eyes. But then and then we'll just stay on that topic, but then we've got to come back around to the current violation, to figure out what to do to that.
Well, then I think the treasury office did what they were supposed to do. They took the money.
Yeah, but they changed the name.
They don't know all this. They didn't read the book.
Right,
It's the owner's job to read the book and get the beer license. Now, I'm woke now, Sarge.
Here we go.
Yeah.
So, the treasury office gonna take the money. I know, they take my money. And they just doing what you tell them to do. They thinking you're gonna do the right thing. It's up to the owners to make sure they're doing the right thing. And if they read the manual, which in case they've been operating all this long without being in, let me not go and work and say that, but you see where I'm going. So,
So the question,
you don't see,
How long, I was just saying, how long was the permit in Nathan Benford's name? Do we know
probably since
that?
2021.
Since 2021.
No, I don't think it was since 2021 because he had applied for
That's not what
another
they said.
permit prior to this happening. And the question was, I believe Mr. Benford had a pending DUI.
Right.
And he was waiting for the disposition on that case.
Right.
And then he never followed through on that other beer permit that he was going to apply for.
Is that the one that his sister-in-law or somebody
Yes.
applied for?
I believe
Then
so.
it didn't go through?
Correct.
Right.
It's like a beer 11 something.
So when that happened, they already had one,
They were operating under beer 999.
which is Smith.
Correct. When Mr. Benford applied for that separate permit and then did not follow
They
through.
didn't follow through.
Correct.
So the first one, before he applied, that goes back to 20,
I'd have to go back and look. It goes
Okay.
back several years.
Yeah.
I know they've been there for a while.
right. All right.
Okay, so I think in order for us to make an informed decision about this, it would be really helpful, and this might be asking too much, but it might be doable, a timeline, even if it's an affidavit, so it's admissible, but to see what's really occurred here, because I'm gonna get confused if we keep going back and forth like this. I need to see it on paper.
That's the beautiful thing about OpenGov. When you go under the, I think it's activity feed or whatever, time, date, stamps, everything.
Right.
So that would help you tremendously.
That would help a lot.
All of us.
Yes, myself included.
Somebody here from Treasury Department, supervisor, somebody to tell us about this whole
We'll
process?
have to request that Roberta come down.
Understanding board, and when the sunshine law, I hate to say it, but the sunshine law. In case they knew somebody,
Catherine, question.
it's gonna open up a whole can of what.
Well, we
yeah, it's gonna
need to
open up a
get
whole
the
lot.
process. We want to know the process,
Okay.
how it went.
Cause they look like we're digging.
All right, so,
Well, we kind of are.
at this point, I'm
right,
sensing
right.
that we need more information before we can proceed with anything. So the board would like to ask, if you could, produce the timeline for us and distribute that to us. And then we'll just have to see once we get that. Because, the administrative hearing officer is here today to hear this case. We don't know if they're gonna be here or not. So it's already in that part of our process. Y'all, now speak up if you don't agree with what I'm saying. But it's already in that part of our process. It's already set to come before the administrative, hearing officer.
So if they don't show up, like the last time, Trevor passed it because they weren't here and he wanted them here so that they could
Right.
tell their side of the story. will he just have to pass it again today if they don't show up?
Well,
Well, I think
so
the-
here's,
Oh, go ahead.
here's the issue that y'all have to decide. One, y'all have to decide whether or not you even want to address this, because this citation is over 60 days old.
Got it. Okay.
And if you feel like you need more information in order to make that decision, then that's fine, but that needs to be clear. And then we can wait until you make that decision to see if we need to put it back on the docket again. And then that's when we can get Trevor involved again. That's just a suggestion, that's something that we can.
Yeah, to me, my initial thought on that is, no matter, we can't hear it, and it's past the time. We shall hear it, we haven't heard it, we can't hear it.
Right.
The violation still exists, the actual violation, if it occurred in the past. The events happened.
Right.
For that reason, I feel like a new violation could be issued. I don't think there's a rule against, I don't think you can renew a violation necessarily, or if they could still be cited for the actual violation that occurred, that we can then hear and see if, is that doable? Is that possible?
So you're saying issue a new violation for this
For the
issue?
event, for the events that occurred, yeah. And then we hear it 30 days later, hopefully.
I think I understand what you're saying, and and I can see where you're going with this, because the triggering event for me was on December 31 when it changed to Mr. Benford. And then on the 18th is when it changed back to Mr. Smith. So in my mind, that sounds like two different violations, one on the 31st and then one on the 18th, because the 31st, when they changed to Benford, or when it was changed to Benford, they didn't come to the board. And then on the 18th, when it changed back to Mr. Smith, they didn't come before the board. So I don't know if that'll help us or not.
So, the time period triggers after the receipt of notice, so it's not like from the actual event itself, just the notice. So I think what Zach proposed is possible based upon my reading of the code. So it's something for the board to consider. But I feel like you would have to officially dismiss this violation and then maybe instruct the regulatory to issue a new violation.
Potentially, it sounds like a second.
Or whatever they feel like.
Whatever they discover.
Right. Because I think that's within the regulatory unit's purview to decide what violations to issue.
May I ask a question, Madam Chair, Brother Chair, and Attorney? I'm confused. So, in my little mind, what I'm hearing, maybe possibly dismissing these charges, and then going back to recite them again on other charges, possibly the same charge, and possibly more. Is that what I'm hearing and understanding?
That's what I'm proposing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
If this violation, my curiosity, if this violation occurred or you noticed it on December the 15th, then notice a change on December the 31st, is there a reason why they weren't violated then? It took until February to issue a violation. I'm asking, why was there a big space?
So when I went there to cite them for the separate violation, I think it was for failure to call 911 and operating a disorderly business.
Right.
When I went there, my intent was to cite them for operating on the invalid permit as well. However, or operating without a current permit. However, when I went there, Mr. Benford told me, no, we have a permit And when I pulled it up in the system, it reflected as an active permit with Mr. Benford's name on it. And I told him, I'm not gonna cite you for this at this time, but I'm gonna have to look at this because something's weird here.
Okay. So that's when you went back February 10th?
Correct.
Got it.
And one of the scenarios could be that they went to the treasurer's office and said, oh, there's a mistake and we need to fix this.
Right. That's
And not
exactly what they did.
through
That's
us.
Because the only thing that the Treasury office does, they issue the permit. They don't decide who gets a permit, they just issue it because they got the mandate from the board.
Right, right.
So someone with a valid permit, or what seems to be a valid permit, comes in and say, hey, we need to make a change. Now, I don't necessarily know if it should be on the Treasury Department to know that that wasn't the proper procedure.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if we need a resolution to this effect. Because,
Yeah, you do, because, one, to dismiss these violations, and then
Okay.
if you wish to issue new violations or to instruct the regulatory unit to look into that, then I think that needs to be a separate motion, if that's what y'all decide to do.
Okay. All right, the chair will entertain a motion.
To dismiss.
I can't say it.
To dismiss this one, and then a further investigation will occur. And then we'll address any violations that are issued subsequently. I move to dismiss the current violation, it's on the agenda today, and instruct further investigation into the potentially triggering events that caused the violation and any subsequent violation if such exists.
Okay. All right, there's a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All right, discussion to the motion.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
So just because we are asking for an investigation and asking for another citation is no guarantee that another citation would occur, correct?
That's right.
That's correct.
So that's my hesitancy in dismissing the current citation.
Well,
That's just,
we're beyond the 60-day limit.
But,
Yeah.
but we still have the ability today to decide if we want to use the current citation in front of us.
We're not in the 60-day window.
Right.
Currently. So to me, the law says we have no ability ever to hear this violation.
Not according to the way she worded it.
So, okay. I'll read the pertinent part. The clerk of the beer board and the duly selected hearing officer in cooperation with the city attorney's office and the permittee or the permittee's representative, if known, shall set the time for the hearing. Said time to be within 60 days, but not less than 30 days after the receipt of the notice by the permittee. That's all it says, in terms of the time.
And I don't interpret that as you can't make a judgment outside of that time frame. But
And that's fair, that's your interpretation
Yeah.
of this. So, and that's why, I thought it was important that the board addressed this before we went ahead and made a decision so that it's not challenged later on.
Would you read that again one more time, please?
All right, so the clerk of the beer board and the duly selected hearing officer in cooperation with the city attorney's office and the permittee or the permittee's representative, if known, shall set a time for the hearing. Said time to be within 60 days, but not less than 30 days after the receipt of the notice by the permittee.
And the operative word is shall,
Yes,
not may or could, but shall.
shall.
Okay.
So,
All right.
the,
Yes, sir, please.
put some light on this.
I would just direct the board's attention, there's a subsequent provision regarding the procedure for these hearings, and it's set out an ordinance number, 5-200, conduct of hearing, the third paragraph. The hearing officer is empowered to exercise such reasonable discretion intended to result in the fair, expedient, and economical resolution of all cases brought pursuant to this article. The scope of that discretion includes, but is not limited to, the authority to amend the answer and citation, to grant or deny continuances, and to establish a length of time for such continuances, to grant rehearings, and to modify or rescind any recommendation. This matter came before me within the 60-day time period. Representatives of Uptown Relo were not present, and so we continued it. So I think under this provision, it's permissible for it to be considered outside the 60-day window.
Okay, all right, very
That
good.
would be my recommendation to the board.
Thank you.
Can I ask the hearing officer
Yes.
when that ordinance was passed? Was it passed after?
Well, no, this was established, this is the procedure that, under which I've been operating as the administrative hearing
Right.
officer.
Okay.
So it had to have predated my appointment.
Yes,
Yeah, all of these were passed as a packet in November of last year.
November of last year.
Okay.
For future reference, no cross-examination, Mr. Ashley.
Considered cross? It's not considered cross.
All right, settle down here now.
Okay, guys.
I will sanction you.
All right,
Big brother
Big brother.
Moses, that's what he did.
all right, here we go. So we have a motion proposed. Did we have a second? We had a second from Ron.
This was the discussion on the
This
motion.
is the discussion part of that.
With that added knowledge, do we go back and say we're gonna keep it on the book?
No, we just don't have to approve the motion.
Well, to add my input, that changes the calculus for me.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Do you want to
sure.
withdraw your motion?
Withdraw it.
All right.
And then we make another motion. So I think I will withdraw my
Okay,
motion.
all right, so the motion maker has withdrawn the motion. So is there another motion as to how we should proceed?
Need to vote on that, or do
No, he withdrew
We
it.
withdrew it.
Okay.
Yeah.
we? We hadn't voted on it.
No, no, we have not voted.
Okay.
All right, so do we,
I could make another motion, but if I'm allowed to address the public hearing officer again? If I could get the ordinance number, was it 5-200?
It
Yes.
was.
Okay.
Third paragraph.
Make a motion that pursuant to ordinance number 5-200,
okay, good.
we hear the violation, the current violation at this, today,
Yes.
at this here, today.
Okay. All right, there's a motion.
Say it again now.
Yeah.
Here's the
Motion that pursuant to ordinance 5-200, we have the authority to hear the violation today, and we
Okay.
so hear it.
All right, is there a second? All right, discussion to the motion.
Yeah, I just want to be clear, Chair, that Mr. Smith and Mr. Benford was notified within these 2 weeks that they knew to show back up here again with reasonable timing.
Okay, we told them last hearing to come to the meeting this week. And then they were notified, I believe,
Yeah,
Mosier or someone said they notified.
So
Officer.
the last time they were here, they were notified when to be here, right? Told them that it was going to be passed. And in the past, I had sent emails to the email address that was on the permit, and they've been receptive that way as well, so.
Okay, so they got an email and plus.
They have been notified, so I think it's why they're not here.
I just want to make sure. Thank you.
Okay.
That's my.
so that's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? I'll call the roll on this one. Zach?
Yes.
Betsy?
Yes.
Reginald?
No.
JW?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
Veronica? Christie?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. All right. So, So now we will hear this violation. I think we pretty much have heard a lot of it.
So that will take place after the hearing today. I mean, after the meeting today, the hearing will.
Okay, so we don't take any other action on this issue now.
No, y'all have decided to hear it today, then we move forward
We
today.
adjourn.
So do we hear it, or does the hearing officer?
hearing
Ah,
officer
very
hears
good,
it.
all right. Just wanna make sure.
Public comments and
Everybody
everything
remembers
else.
this is new ground for us, so we're kind of taking it one step at a time. Okay, great. All right, thank you very much. Hearing officer, thank you very much, too. Okay. Get back to the agenda here. All right. So is there any public comment? Is there anyone that wishes to address the board today? None noted. And any board members, any further discussion on any other issues from board members?
There was a second bullet under the discussion about placement of violations on the agenda section. I don't know if we want to, I don't know what that means necessarily. Under number, Roman numeral 6.
I think they wanted to add a section for the hearing officer that says violations to be heard by the hearing officer. If I'm not mistaken, I think that's what it was. I think it was kind of confusing for us when we see violations. We think we're supposed to hear it or
Okay,
create
yeah.
another agenda for.
All right, sorry about that, thank you.
Like an official docket or something?
Placement of violations on agenda. What discussion do we need to have about that?
Yeah, I think it's what just Christie just stated.
Christie, would you say that again? I couldn't hear
I
you.
think the issue was, whenever we have the agenda, we get a little confused when we see violations because we think we're supposed to hear them, but they're actually going to the hearing officer. So I don't know if we want to add another, section that says violations to be heard from the hearing officer or create another agenda for the hearing officer.
Right. And if we put it on our agenda before adjournment, consequences, we all stay for the public hearing officer hearing. Whereas right now, it's technically not a requirement that we do that.
I like the idea, though, that this will be placement of violations to appear before the hearing officer. Just so we have a list of, we know what's coming up.
Gonna be heard by the hearing officer.
All right. So I think that's a good policy for us to have. We'll need to communicate that with Bertha and staff to make sure that that is placed on there, because I think that would help us.
Say that again, changing the title of the agenda item?
Placement, no, just say, we'll have another bullet point or whatever, it'll say placement of violations on it. It will say violations that are scheduled to appear before the hearing officer the day of this meeting. And just a list so we know.
I
Just
believe
so we-
also when the hearing officer is going to be here. That way we can cite, when we cite them, we give them a date. That way they're here and the hearing officer's here.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to do the first meeting of the month or second meeting or whenever, but
Well, but we are up against the 60-day rule in some respects.
We are, and it would be good to put the date as close to the 30-day mark as possible, in case we have to pass it, because we can only pass it a couple times.
Right, and that's, what I've been suggesting and what we've tried to do. Like, okay, when is the 30 days up? What's the first meeting after the 30 days? That's
That's it,
kind of how the
yes.
practice we've been doing.
Yeah, because
So that if there needs to be, a continuance of some sort or whatever, then you have at least one. Or
What I
whatever.
don't recommend, because I think it could technically happen, is there's a whole separate hearing that comes before even when we have our next beer board meeting. It doesn't technically have to occur after the next beer board meeting. But I think it's good, I think it should occur after the next beer board meeting.
Right, that's kind of our practice
Yeah,
now. But if, let's say they have an attorney and the attorney's not available, or the
right.
hearing officer's not available for that particular day, then we can specially set it. But
Okay.
my preference is to set it on a beer board meeting day.
Me too.
Okay.
Okay, so that's internally, as we do our schedule, I don't think we need to take any action other than we'd like to see that, right? All right. Any other questions or comments? If not, is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
All in favor of adjourning signify by saying aye. Aye. Thank you very much for being here today.